Hey everybody. So I'm having to start my next project sooner than I thought. I actually thought I was going to have to start it today. Sorry about any wind noise. But I have to remove this upper deck up until the point of that joist right there, and then the steps, so that the excavator can come in and work on stabilizing the chimney. And I'll show you what I mean. And hopefully that noise, that wind isn't too bad. So, up close, here's the chimney. That awning is rotting. It fell all on its own. It needs a new one. But there used to be a gap between the deck and the chimney, and you can see where there's no longer really much of a gap. This corner especially, there is absolutely no gap. But there was a gap before. And this has a bigger gap, so you can see which way the chimney is leaning. I have a board going up the seam there, but up at the top, you can see where it is separated from the house. And here at the bottom, which there has always been some separation since I moved into the house 20 years ago, but it's gotten worse since the earthquake. Let me show you down below. So this is the chimney down below the deck. You can see a mud dauber nest there. But the seam that it's always had looked kind of like that spot right there in the middle. Sorry, it's pixelated. I don't know why it's doing that. But right above where that chunk is out, that little bit of crack is what it's always had. But as you can see, it's gotten a lot worse, especially right there. And that seems to be the point at where the chimney is bending. And my feeling is that the deck is holding it in place. And I really don't want to take the deck down. But I have to take it down in order for them to put footings in under those bricks right there, the cinder blocks under the footing, is where they put the piers. So today I'm going to move these patio blocks. They're actually all in this area. They're just covered up by wood and ivy. And so I'm going to move those along with this firewood here and this wall that I made, because the wall is there because we made a trapdoor in the top deck to throw wood down. So it lifts up like that, and you throw the wood down, and then you just pile the wood up. So, but one of the things we found, when you'd throw the wood down, it would land in here, but sometimes it would tumble, and it would tumble right in front of the basement door. And so to keep the door from being broken, and also to keep it from blocking the door, we put a wood wall up. And these slats, whoops, wrong end. These slats just lift up so you can pull them out as your firewood pile gets lower. But I stacked the wood all the way up to above where that board, that wood board that's attached to the green board, the wood has been stacked up above that level all the way across. So that's my wood wall. So we're going to move the firewood in the patio. I'm going to put that on fast speed so you're not too bored. I'll document as much as I can of taking the deck apart, but I don't want to document the guy who's helping me, so we'll probably skip you guys meeting him. But I've got my sneakers on, And I've had these suckers since college. If you know where I can find sneakers like these, I love the canvas with the leather. I hate these new mesh sneakers. So if you know where I can find this style of sneaker, these are really worn out. These are Nikes. Had them since college, so I've had them probably 23 years at least, if not longer. And that's the only big damage to them. It's not bad, but I do need a new pair. So if you know where to get some, I'll gladly listen. All right, I'm going to, because all the stores have the mesh thingies, and I hate the mesh thingies. They don't last long at all. So, all right, I'm going to sit you guys down and start getting to work. Okay, starting to get a headache. My back is killing me. I had to take a break at one point. I went inside and watched Fail Whale 34. I think it's 34. But at any rate, all the cinder blocks are up, and that's what was underneath. To try to give you an idea, that's how slanted that hill is. And I don't think you can still tell too well because we're kind of at a down angle. But it's quite steep, and if you saw me trying to keep my balance, that is why. But the cinder blocks are up. By the way, there's a piece of ice that was in some of the stuff I was moving. There's another piece of ice there. That's the old sump pump. But all those cinder blocks, or patio blocks, I had bought them for the wood to sit on them instead of sitting on that dirt. Because I don't know if you can, if I get up close, that dirt right there is dry. That dirt is soaked. So I needed something to be a barrier between my firewood and the dirt, and so I got patio blocks for that. Probably not the best solution, but it works. So a grid system would probably be better. But, and Mr. Groundhog tried to get back through again. We put a big rock right here because when we re-leveled this deck, it actually was down below this step, or angled actually. It was level here, but stepped up where that crack is there. There used to be a crack there. I forgot we put new boards down in line with where the steps start, and they angled it like a ramp down to the basement level, and so we just made it all flat because we were tripping over the lip all the time. But when we did that, we put a big rock in the groundhog hole. Well, apparently he's been back because that's his hole right there. I'm a size 6 in these sneakers, I think. So it shows you how big that hole is as far as circumference. So, and my nose is running because my face is hot, which is probably why I'm starting to get the headache. Oh, by the way, I'm getting sidetracked easily. Alright, so back to the patio blocks. All of those blocks I bought at once, and I don't have a truck. At the time, all I had was a Nissan Maxima. I had sold my Jeep, so the building supply place was like, "You're going to put these in the trunk of your car?" And I went, "Yep." So they loaded them up and put them in the trunk of the car. My car was riding on the wheels. I'll insert a picture here. And that's how low it was. My car was so mad at me. I didn't rub the wheels at all, so that was good. I didn't ruin my tires at all, but it weighed down the car quite a bit. Luckily, the building supply place is only about 4-5 miles from my house. Town is not very big, so that part of it was not too bad. But that's the story about those patio blocks. But I can't move them because, as you can see, they flattened Dad's dolly wheel. So rather than breaking my back some more, I'm going to wait until he arrives with my help tomorrow and see how they want to move these and go from there. So, but I've moved the wood over to this side. Hopefully it'll dry out some. If you guys couldn't tell, some of them are pretty rotten. And when they're rotten, they soak up the water real good. Some of them are nice and dry. Part of that area is under that awning that's up above, so it stays dry. But the rest of it is just rotten wet. And eventually it'll dry out. It just takes forever. So hopefully it'll dry out a little bit there. It's on the south wall. As you can see, that wall gets a lot of sun. Plus that's 20-year-old paint, or 19-year-old paint, all across the back there. I need to repaint the house, but what I'd rather do is save up the money and just side it, because the hard paneling is rotten too. So it just needs new siding, period. But one day we'll get there. And the other stuff you saw me moving was an awning that I had originally bought to go. It's a gate awning that I originally bought to go right there. So I'd have a gate on the back of my lawn to go into the woods if needed. Because I was going to put a fence up in the yard because I had a dog at the time. Never did get the fence up. Never did get the gate up. So it's, I mean, I'm missing the one of the tall sides. I only have one. I have no idea what happened to the other one. So since I can't use it for what I originally bought it for, what I'm going to do is repaint it and then use it for trellises, short trellis and tall trellis, and then a bridge trellis. And that way it doesn't get wasted. And it's still pretty. Especially once I paint it, it'll be pretty again. So it's got some ivy kind of stuff there on the thing. And then there's some old litter pans there. I've got to clean them up. I need the rain from this week to dry off first. In this bucket, you saw me scooping up stuff and putting in it. It's stuff that I can burn as kindling. So I'll just take it inside so it doesn't get soaked. But I'll do that after I'm able to move the patio blocks, because otherwise it's going to be a tight squeeze into the basement. But I'll just take it inside and store that. So I still have kindling for the wood stove. Okay. So we're ready for tomorrow to start looking at taking down the deck. One of my big fears is that as we're removing the deck, let me cup my hands around the camera there. Hopefully that cuts down on the wind noise. But one of my fears is that as we take the deck down, the chimney's going to fall. The inside is not cracked. I've had 2 different inspectors tell me the inside is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and burn all of my cardboard and boxes that I have, packaging and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and burn all of that while I still have a chimney. And then that way if the chimney does fall, then I won't have a whole bunch of cardboard boxes. You can kind of see them stacked up right there. That's all to be burned, so we'll go ahead and burn all that. Okay, I think that's it for now. All right, see you next time.